All right, so let's check this out. So I got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I think I'm going to use it to shoot basically my first vlog. And it kind of comes on a good day because today is when I ran my first trail running event. So it's been an interesting few months in terms of preparation for this. So I started about 4 months ago, essentially at the beginning of the year. So January 1st really did mark the first day that I decided to go start training. And I'd signed up for this in the previous year, not too long before the new year started. And a big reason for this was because, I've been in the training in the fitness industry now for about 9 years, over 9 years now. And over the years, I've never actually trained for something specific. So I've always been training in some capacity, and I've always found myself interested in learning different methodologies and experimenting around, but I've always truly felt like I've lacked the experience of what it means to train for a particular and specific goal and to train towards something. And one thing that I feel that it's left me the challenge with is how to empathize, truly empathize, and relate to a lot of the clients I end up working with who often tend to come in with some injury that is preventing them from a specific goal that they might have, whether it's a sport that they play, whether there is a specific event coming up, or even if it's just related to life. I mean, the related to life one I could relate a little bit more so because when I first started, I used to deal with a significant amount of hip and knee and low back pain. And over the years, I've been able to really figure out, or not, I don't want to say figure out, but I've been able to learn ways to improve and manage my body. And it's become, and generally felt a lot more resilient. However, when it comes to training for something specific, I didn't really know what that means and what that truly feels like. And so this trail running event was the first of its kind for me in my life. So I signed up for a 12.5 kilometer trail run. It was called Conquer the Canuck, and it took place in Cambridge. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, literally just a couple, more than 2 weeks and 2 days ago, I ended up spraining my ankle. And the way it happened was kind of silly and stupid. Just demonstrating an exercise with a 35-pound med ball. The exercise is one where it's just a roll over the shoulder. Unfortunately, I had my heel up, and so I ended up dropping the 35 pounds directly from my shoulder onto the back of my ankle on my Achilles, and that had already impacted the ankle around the ATFL. So that's a ligament that connects the fibula and the talus, and it is often the one that prevents the ankle from overly inverting. And so think of your common ankle sprain when you roll your ankle. And so I felt some discomfort in that day. I was supposed to go and run 10K as part of my training. Because I was sick the previous week and that had already taken me away from my training, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to be stubborn. I will still go and run. Although I was going to do not the full 10K and only try about the 6K. Now, I was feeling my ankle before I went, and I could tell something's not right, and it's probably best to wait. But unfortunately, I decided to not heed my own advice that I would probably typically provide clients. And what I mean by that is, well, generally when it comes to clients, what I'll tell them is, I was thinking in my head, literally the voice in my head was saying this. I dropped a weight on my ankle, something doesn't feel right. Should I go run and do my training? I would say, absolutely not. Probably best to take a day off, get it looked at, checked, just to ensure it doesn't get worse, and then that just further takes you away from the actual goal and the thing you're specifically training for. Obviously, the sound advice, makes sense to do that. Take your precautions, and that way, you don't end up delaying the inevitable or what you really wanted in the first place. So, I ended up going running, would feel some pain in the front of my ankle. After 6K, I'm walking back, and through that run, although before I walked back, I kept thinking no, it's probably not a good idea, I should probably stop. Didn't, walked back, then through the day, got worse, ended up with a swollen ankle. Turns out I sprained my ATFL. And there it is. I was really upset, really frustrated. So for a week I didn't run, obviously trying to do the smart thing and rehabilitate it. And so I started to just use the bike, an assault bike, for my conditioning instead. My coach was able to obviously adapt the program as needed. And just gradually, just because of the nature of my work, I was constantly walking on it. It was being loaded. And so I'd notice the swelling going down and the pain started to decrease through the week. And I introduced my running back in, although at a lower intensity this week. And it felt pretty good leading into the event. Now I get to the event and, I decide, all right, let's just, my thought was, let's not try to be too speedy and too fast, just take it easy. And the goal is to, just participate in the event and complete it. And that way this will be a lead up into future events. Now I have some idea of what to anticipate when I arrive, as well as how these events typically take place. And it's pretty impressive to see, there are people out there who are running 12 hours, running 25K, 50K, and then we have the 12.5 kilometers. And I chose to do this because I have no real experience in this, and it was advised to me, hey, start with this lower distance. And holy shit, it is crazy to really now try to get a true reference of what it means to be an elite level athlete, because I am so far behind. And even not just elite athlete, but people who have been training for a significant period of time and have developed great capacity and ability within their domain, their sport, their activities. For me, this is still pretty new. I've ran over the year, but nothing with a particular goal in mind, and actually trying to develop and understand what is true speed and pacing ability truly like. And now, the more I get into it, the more I watch, the more I'm learning and trying to understand, what are the capabilities of people out there when it comes to long distance running? And the speeds and paces people can run at are impressive, just sometimes really hard to comprehend, because for a lot of us, the speeds that they run at would be considered earth spread. And even at this event, there's some very impressive runners out there, running at speeds where, as they would pass me by, I'm just thinking man, how come I can't do this? Or how come I can't do it to their capacity and speed? And I have to just remind myself, okay, why do you believe that your ability should just be greater when you don't really have that much experience in it yet? This is just the start. And at the same time, where I'm at now is something I've developed, and it is something I can continue to develop. This is the beginning of this. And sure, I'm starting later on in life, I'm 33 now, but I'm doing more than I did in the past. My physical abilities have improved and pushing my personal physical abilities so far. And I'm realizing that there's further that they can be pushed, and it's just a matter of time, patience, and training. Now, unfortunately, through the event, feeling pretty good, going a little bit faster than what I had originally anticipated or planned to, and about 9.5 kilometers in, on a downhill segment, I completely just felt my ankle, no stiffness, feel it roll, felt that sprain, same spot after the previous 2 weeks, and I had to walk the remainder of the event. However, I did finish. Now, I was pretty disappointed at the time and pretty upset and frustrated, and during the run I kept having these thoughts about how great it felt and how amazing it was. Now I'm still doing this after 2 weeks of just having sprained my ankle 2 weeks ago, and although I'd done some research, talked to the team here, I understand that these things take time to heal. Even if it feels good, doesn't necessarily mean it's in ready to go shape. And so, feeling a little bit disappointed, but still able to finish the event. And now I've re-sprained it. Fortunately, it doesn't seem as bad as the first time because I don't feel it swollen, which is great. And now the process starts again. So, no running for a week, I suppose. Gradual rebuild, and hopefully in time to prepare for the 21-kilometer run that I'll be participating in at the end of July, and hopefully this just marks still a beginning and not necessarily a frustration or an end to this new process and journey. And again, I gotta say, it's been great to see it actually look at good runners and starting to understand and learn about the world of running. And to realize, I think the biggest thing is my challenge often is I often feel that I know a lot. And I think this is the ignorance of consumption of too much knowledge and information without true experience. And true experience is knowledge and having actually executed and engaged in the things you're talking about. Just because you don't actually engage doesn't mean that you're not going to know things about it that are useful and relevant, but it's pretty clear that the act of doing has a lot more to teach you about the reality of the things you think you know about than to just sit there, contemplate, think and watch, and then think you feel you know, but you don't really know. All right, well, this is the first vlog, and my name is Adnan. I'm out.